Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1 from class TAC 1102E. We'll present about our title, Learning Preference Survey of Students in UiTM Dungun.
We move to the next part, which is the objective of our group project, which is Learning Preference Survey of Students in UiTM Dungun. Next one is the methodology of our group project. The overarching strategy, data collection, and rationale of our topic, which is Learning Preference Survey in UiTM Dungun, is collected by making a survey for students to answer it. We will also explain the sampling technique that we use, the data collection method, and variety of graphic presentation to analyze data that be collected by students in UiTM Dungun. For our project, we choose to use a non-random sampling technique, which is convenient sampling. Our target for this survey is all students in UiTM Dungun without a specific population, like specific gender or specific faculty. The sample of 125 of students in UiTM Dungun is selected using a convenient sampling.
There are 7 questions we provided to UiTM Dungun students to answer. The method we use to analyze the data are as the table here. Before I continue further explanation about the questionnaire, I will show you the questions given to UiTM Dungun in our Google form. So we have 3 demographic questions and 4 questions to identify to achieve our objectives. There are also have 2 quantitative questions and 5 qualitative questions.
Based on the table, we can see those 90 until 20 years old is the highest that answered the questionnaires compared to the another respondent, which is 21 and above. The chart has shown that the total respondent for 90 until 20 years old is 96 students. For age 21 until 22 is 13 students. For 25 and above is 9 students. For 23 until 24 years old is 7 students, which is the lowest compared to the others. Based on the diagram, which is pie chart and bar chart, we can see that female student is the highest that respond to the questionnaires compared to the male students. The chart has shown that the total respondent for female student is 102. Meanwhile, the total respondent for male student is 23, which is the lowest from the chart. The total faculty in UiTM Dungun is 5, which is Accountancy, Hotel and Tourism Management, Business Management, Electrical Engineering, and Contemporary Islamic Studies Academy. Total respondent from Faculty of Accountancy is 74 students and 11 students from Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management. From Faculty Electrical of Engineering, there were 8 students that answered the questionnaires. Meanwhile, from Faculty of Business of Management, there were 29 students. Lastly, the total students from Faculty of Contemporary Islamic Studies Academy is 3 students. In conclusion, we collected 125 respondents from all faculty available in UiTM Dungun.
Next is learning method that effective for students. To achieve this objective, we ask the students what learning method that effective on you when studying. So we have 4 suggested answers and the percentages of respondent for every answers. So here are the pie chart and single bar chart to representative the percentages and the number of the respondents respectively.
Based on the diagram, the highest respondent for difficulties that faced by student is distracted by noise, which is 38 students. The lowest respondent for difficulties that faced by student is poor time management, which is 1. Meanwhile, the other respondent for difficulties is poor design or presentation, which is 8 students. In addition, respondent for internet problem is 21 students. Respondent for lab vocabulary or slow learner is 22 students. Respondent for difficulty of learning step of procedures is 35 students.
The following diagram 3.4 identifies the satisfaction of environment places while studying among 125 students. Based on the findings, the highest response in this survey were 58 students were for neutral for their experience of satisfaction of environment places. On the other hand, the lowest response were 3 choose for dissatisfied. Besides, the second highest response were 4 3 select on slightly satisfied, while the second lowest response were 5 students went for slightly dissatisfied. The remaining students, which of 16 of students are going for satisfied about their experiences of satisfaction environment places in studying.
Meanwhile, for 3.5, time that students take to study in a day. Because of this data is a quantitative data, so we used to analyze this data using a frequency distribution, histogram, frequency polygon, ogive, measures of center tendency, which is we find the mean, median, and mode, the measures of dispersion, which is we find the variance and standard deviation, and the last one is the shape of distribution. Based on the table above, we can see there are total 50 students who are studying only 2 until 4 hours per day, and 61 students who are studying 4 until 6 hours per day. And this is the higher respondents who answered this question. Meanwhile, there is record only 11 students who took up about 6 to 8 hours to study in a day. However, in the next 8 until 10 hours to study, there has record only 3 students who are studying. And the lowest time that students take to study in a day, which is only 1 to 2 hours, is recorded 0 respondent. So when we record the data that we got into is a histogram and frequency polygon. So we move to the next one, which is we calculate the measures of central tendency, which is we have to find the mean, median, and mode. The first one is mean. The formula of mean is the total of fx divided by total of frequency, which is the total of student, and we got the total of fx is 559. We divided by 125, which is that is total the student we survey, and the final and the mean we got is 4.47. The second one is we want to find the median. The formula of to find the median is like above. We just put the number in the formula, which is 4 plus 2 125 divided by 2 minus 250. We divided by 61 and we times 2. And we got the median is 4.441. And the third one is we want to find the mode. This is the formula of mode, and we just put the number in this formula, which is 4 plus 11 divided by 11 plus 50, and we times 2, and we got mode 4.36. The next one, we want to find the measures of dispersion, which is we want to find the value of standard deviation and the value of variance. So the first one, we want to find the value of standard deviation. We just put the number into this formula and we got 1.44. The second one, we want to find the value of variance, which is the formula is s squared S is a standard deviation, and 1.44 squared, we got the value of variance is 2.0736. Last one, we want to find the shape of distribution. So we got, for this equation, we got this shape, which is, we got the lowest is a mode and the highest is a mean. So to find this shape of distribution is positive or negative, we use the Pearson coefficient of skewness formula, which is mean minus 2 mode divided by standard deviation, and we got 0.076. And the shape of distribution is positive and skewed to the right.
So we already arrived at the conclusion. From the response we got, can be concluded every student have different style in learning and still manage to score in their examination. There are no wrong or right ways in study. It is depending on that student, what skill of study that effective on them, and what a perfect time for them to study. In conclusion, every student is really aware with the importance of study, but the difference is skill of learning, time consuming, and also the environment when they study.